Monday evening. We are live for my weekly live that I'm giving on attitude, because I think attitude is something that we can all learn from. And when you are a business owner, or you are an employee, or you're just a mother or a father, it means that you have to get adjusted with your attitude if you want to get results out of the relationships, out of the work that you're doing. And I'm doing this every week now. It's a little series of different sessions on attitude, let's say. And today I want to talk about you being the product of your environment. So, what does that mean? When I'm saying you are the product of your environment, is that very often you get influenced by the people that are around you. And obviously, the people that are around you are very often those that are taking care of you, willing to see you happy, willing to see you doing the right stuff. And what I realize is that when you do get involved with people around you that are giving you an influence that maybe is not exactly what you want, you might still continue having that influence because you feel that that is something that you need to do. You want to listen to those people that care for you. You want to be surrounded by those that you might think are knowing better than you do. And because usually, and certainly when you start in a business or when you are in the beginning of a relationship or whatever, you just want to show to the other person that you're completely loyal to what they're saying. I have known this many times in my life as well. And I was pretty much like almost living in the life of somebody else. Even if I was staying myself, I could still feel that I was listening and acting like what the other person was expecting from me. And in the social life that we are living, there is a lot of those things that are expected from us and that we start doing because we think that's part of the way that we need to go with it. But we rarely think back and be very conscious about really the decisions that we can take and that we are not there to do everything that is asked from us. I'm going to give you the example of COVID. When COVID broke out, we were surrounded by a lot of people that were caring about us, right? They all gave us advice on how we actually needed to protect ourselves and protect the others. And by doing that, we actually went into the life of what we thought was going to be the best to get us protected and do things in the right way. But what happened is that we all got fear. We all got very, very scared about what was going on with COVID. We stayed home because that was something that was imposed on us. We did a lot of things that we didn't even question to try to understand if that was right or not right. And there were some people that really stayed within themselves and said, I'm not participating in this. And they were pointed with the finger saying, you're not doing the thing that is there to protect everybody else. You're not helping. And so you get influenced by a lot of that media stuff and that negativity. Media is there to be negative. Media is there to put fear on you because then they can control you a lot better. And so your attitude needs to be that it's not like you go against everything that is taught to you, but it's making sure that you understand better what is good for you and what is good for your clients and what is good for the people that are around you as well. And so your attitude can have a big influence there. When you, for example, have a date and you go to a restaurant and you are just being nice with the person that you're with, but the Uber is coming and is actually not in a good mood and puts a lot of pressure on you because he says you need to take a decision right away because the reservations are like every hour. So we want to make sure that you're quick in what you order and what you eat. But in the meantime, it's putting frustration on you. And so what is happening is that you put that frustration further to somebody else. It's like a negativity that is influencing everybody else in your environment. But if you at that point decide to take it from another angle and try to actually control the situation and maybe help the Uber to see those things in as well and making the situation a little bit more humoristic or better, then the person will be a lot better as well. So that whole attitude gets you or in the positive way or in the negative way. And you can decide in what way that you want to go. But be aware that everything that goes through you in your life, you can have an influence by that. For example, your parents might have told you not to go and start a business as an entrepreneur because it's risky, because you might not succeed in what you're doing. It could be that your teachers are posing some thoughts that they have into you, and that they teach you on this instead of trying to let you think through the situation and take a decision of where you want to go with that story. It can be that your employer is somebody that is willing to put pressure on you in a certain way, and that you don't want to lose your job. So you're going to take action based on what you think is the best way to go with what this person is proposing. And there is a lot of those things. If you think back on your life every day, like what do you do in the morning? What do you do in the afternoon? How do you live it? How do you act upon people? How do you keep your attitude positive? How do you actually go in the negative? Why is that at that point? Why is that so impacting you? What is happening at that point? So when you get to realize all that, you can work with it a lot better than if you keep going and don't take sometimes a step back to think it through. So I think that's important as well, is that you take that step back once in a while to try to understand what's happening to you. So the brain is something, it's a magic thing, the brain. The brain is actually really very, very intelligent, obviously, we all are. But the brain is actually really understanding what he sees, what he feels, and what he hears. So if your brain is hearing from you that what what you're saying is something that you want to have, then the brain is going to act upon that. If you're feeling bad, the brain is going to consider that as bad and is going to make you feel bad even more. If the brain is feeling that you're going in a direction but you're thinking the other, he might just go into that direction where you think it should go. So it's not rocket science, it's just the fact that your brain needs to be trained to have the right attitude. And a good example I have is that my grandmother, at one point, she couldn't sleep very well. So she was taking pills every night to go to bed and sleep. And those pills were helping her to sleep. And one day, my mother, she said to the doctor, she said to the doctor, can you prescribe her an aspirin, a medicine, that is actually a placebo? It's nothing. It's just powder that is pushed together, but that my grandmother just had a belief that she was still taking the pills. And actually, the pills were working, even if they were not the medicines that she was taking. It was fake. But the fact that her brain was getting something, it felt like it was still doing the job, and she was still sleeping through, although she didn't even have the medicine anymore. So that's how strong our brain can be. And I think from that perspective, if you start understanding that your brain has an impact in how your attitude is going to be, it's only by getting conscious about what you're doing that you will understand what you can change and what you can improve. And by doing that, I'm using the 4 M's, because the 4 M's is something that can help me to go in the direction I want to go. Instead of letting me being surrounded by people that are negative and not giving me anything that I can grow upon and that helps me to develop myself and to become the person that I want to be, I just go with the 4 M's. The first one is mimic. So I'm actually taking a role model, one or two, that I believe are those people that can help me to get to my goals. Those people that have already proven by the past that they have been able to change and to change in the direction that I want to go as well. So by mimicking those people and trying to do like they're doing, obviously you could say, yeah, but then you're not yourself. Yes, in the beginning it might not be that I'm 100% myself, but I need to learn from those people, and to learn from those people I need to mimic them. I need to do what they're doing. I need to learn from them. Once that I get that and I understand what works for them, I can apply it to myself. I can model it to myself. I can make it so that it becomes something that I own, something that is part of me. So I need to mimic first and then I need to model. And once that I know how it is for myself and how I modeled it to myself, I can go to the M3. And the M3 is that you need to master it. Once that you master what you have learned and what you have adapted to yourself, you modeled it, then you master it. Once that you master it, you can actually take it out. You can go and you can be convinced that what you have mastered can serve as well for others and can serve first of all for yourself, for where you want to be. And once that you master it, you go and multiply it. That means that in a business, there is no reason that you keep it for yourself. When you are in a business, you want to multiply your knowledge. You want to multiply what you have done, what you have seen, what you can bring to the table, whether it's a product or a service. But you want to be omnipresent. You want to dominate your market. You want to make sure that you're the one that is an expert in your field and that people get to know you as well for what you have achieved. And that is by the experience that you have gone through and by what you are proposing now and what that you can give today. And by doing those 4 M's, you will get a lot better in your attitude as well, which means that clients and people will follow you much easier and will believe in you for what you're delivering and from what you're bringing. So, 4 things, the M's. M1 is the mimic, the model, the master, and the multiplier. Those are important. Don't get to 10 different role models. I was talking today with one of the mentees that I work with, who I taught this as well to. And I told her, I said, be careful not to go with 10 role models because they all have different stories, different ways of doing things. And you might get confused and you will not be able to follow through it. But if you have one or two, then you can have a good vision of what they're doing and how they can be successful or have been or are, and how you can adapt that and take it for yourself and go with it for yourself. So take two. This you can write down first what they all do, what you like about them, what you think made them successful, what you don't like about them. Maybe the other role model is doing the things that is better than what the other one is doing. So you can compare, but keep it to two. Then go with the 4 M's. And once that you have a good feeling about your attitude and that you get conscious about it, it's about practice. It's practicing over and over and over again until you master it so good that you actually don't have to think anymore about multiplying because it's going naturally. And this is not only from a business perspective. This is also when you are with your kids or with your family. If they are not giving you what you're looking for and they're not willing to understand what you're looking for, then that's okay. As long as you understand that you can let them talk, but you don't always have to follow through what they're saying. You can have compassion for them because they don't always are conscious enough about what they're saying. And you can thank them. Thank them for the love that they're giving you and for the attention that they're giving you. But you can kindly say as well, I will still continue doing what I believe is good for me and what I believe is good for my family and my surroundings. And if you are in a job where the negativity is pushing you down and that you feel again that you become that person if you stay in that role, in that job, then maybe it's time for you to change and to go somewhere else. But you have to have the courage for that. That's taking as active action, right? So everything goes together with taking action, obviously. But if you start with the right attitude, if you start with understanding and having a good belief of what is important for you, if you understand as well what is consciously the things that you're surrounded by, and that you can decide what you leave aside and what you take with you, then from that point of view, you will get a lot more out of your life because you will feel a lot more motivated. You will still feel a lot more achieving things and fulfillment, and you will probably feel a lot better as well. So if you want to be successful, start by looking at two role models and go with those so that you can take from that step up to the next step, up to the next step, and making sure that you're growing steadily but surely. Because if you're starting to compare too much with other people, that is not mimicking. Comparing is not mimic. Mimic is when you take action based on what you have learned from those people, but comparing is putting you in a negative position again, because what you will be doing is comparing based on the things that you're not able to do or you are not capable of doing right now. But it is because you're still in the process of learning. Some people have done things so much longer than you. So instead of looking them up as being a comparison, look at what they do well and take that as a lesson. Don't be jealous about them. Just learn from them. That's a lot better. But again, don't over multiply in that context. Just choose one or two. So, with that advice, I want to end up this live here for now, for today. I'll be there next week again. And I'll invite you to follow me through. If you have questions, you can send them to me. If you want to have a call so that we can discuss what you need to grow in your business, I'm a 10x business coach, and I'm really there to help you scale up your business and personally as well. So it's not only professionally, but you want to grow personally as well and financially, obviously. So anyway, if you're interested, you can always get back to me. And otherwise, I'll see you next week if you want to follow me. Thank you. Bye.